When you think of the sister wives story, you might picture family dinners, ups and downs, and the kind of personal drama that made this show a cultural phenomenon. But what's happened behind the scenes in the last couple of years has taken that drama to a completely new level: legal battles, sealed court filings, custody disputes, questions of paternity, and fan speculation have turned a reality show into what feels like a courtroom thriller that even the most creative TV writers couldn't invent. Now, before I dive into the heart of what's reportedly been happening, let me know in the comments right now, do you believe the sister wives legal drama is more shocking than anything TLC has ever aired? Go ahead, type yes or no. I want to know where you stand because this story is going to ask you to rethink everything you thought you knew about this family's reality outside of television. What makes this situation so intense right now is that there are real, documented legal disputes that have played out, even if not all of the most dramatic clips you've seen circulating on social media come from verified court transcripts. One of the most significant pieces of the puzzle is the custody and paternity lawsuit that Christine Brown filed in late 2024, a suit that shocked many fans when it was discovered because Christine and Kody Brown were never legally married, and that means legally establishing parental rights for their youngest child truly required going into an actual courtroom, not just a producer's office or a mediation room. This is real family law, and it's happening in state courts, not just behind the scenes of reality TV edits. According to widely reported entertainment news and legal filings uncovered by outlets that cover reality television legal developments, the court had to determine what rights Kody Brown had, if any, given that his name wasn't on the birth certificate. And that's where the stakes grew so high that sealed documents and confidentiality orders began circulating in rumors online. Now, the reason I emphasize verified filings is that there is a big difference between what's recorded in official court dockets and what fans are assuming based on clips and speculation. And that distinction matters because YouTube's strict authenticity policies are watching closely, and so are millions of viewers who want real drama, not just rumors. But let's be honest, when a custody battle and paternity suit involving beloved children is filed, and then parts of that suit go under seal or are not publicly accessible, the speculation that follows online is almost inevitable. Some fans have claimed secret tapes or bombshell testimony involving Robyn Brown, and that's where tension spreads like wildfire. But at the same time, what is documented remains deeply compelling, multiple sides exchanging legal briefs, the court having to interpret family law in the context of plural family relationships, and long-standing relationships being put under the razor of legal scrutiny. And I need you to engage with this right now before I go deeper, so go ahead and hit like if you think sealed court documents only make the situation more tense. And let me know if you think that fans are reading too much into speculation. Type too much, or if you think there is something explosive in those sealed filings. Type explosive. The emotional tension here is real. Christine's choice to take this to court wasn't a casual decision. It reflects deep conflicts, responsibilities, and questions about support, custody, and parental recognition that could alter the relationships between these adults and their children forever. And that's just the beginning, because you and I both know that this family's legal struggles didn't stop with custody. There's also the infamous Coyote Pass property saga, once the symbol of a unified plural family and a shared spiritual future. Now a legal battleground where who gets what and who owned what became contested as family alliances shifted. Reports from public record tracking outlets show that property titles and land agreements were amended, transferred, and disputed as Christine, Mary, and Janelle left the plural marriage and sought equitable distribution of assets they once shared. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn ended up with majority title claims. And that sparked not just fan commentary, but real filings and negotiations that had to be documented with county records and discussed in attorney communications. So when fans online started saying there must be secret financial documents exposed in court, that was not purely fan fiction. They were trying to connect publicly known property disputes with alleged sealed testimonial content. That's how narratives explode in the digital age. A real legal dispute feeds speculation about hidden courtroom drama, and suddenly everyone online is talking about shocking testimony. Even if the court records we can access don't contain audio leaks or dramatic oaths captured on tape. But the feeling of a covered-up conflict is powerful in itself, and it generates engagement. Which is why speculation spreads faster than verified fact right here, right now. I want you to comment down below. Who do you think has the strongest legal footing, Christine with her custody claims, or Kody with his name not being on the birth certificate? This question matters because the legal reasoning behind parental rights without marital documentation is a compelling legal pivot that challenges traditional assumptions and has millions of viewers emotionally invested. And I want to be clear, the fact that fans are discussing sealed filings, hidden testimony, and alleged contradictions isn't just idle gossip. It's a testament to how intense this conflict has become in public perception. But throughout this video, I'm going to walk you through what verified reports say, what legal filings actually show, and what the real implications are for this family's future. Not just entertainment-driven rumor. So if you're watching this all the way through, by the time we reach the end, you'll understand why courts had to get involved, why documents went under seal, why fans are speculating about hidden evidence, and what may come next in one of the most legally tangled narratives a reality TV family has ever faced. If you're ready for that full breakdown, hit subscribe now and ring that notification bell so you don't miss part 2, where I'll take you deeper into the actual legal filings, the timeline of court actions, and the roles each member of the Brown family played in these proceedings. Let's dive in. The story picks up as court activity around the Brown family accelerates, and public attention sharpens, not just on Kody and Christine's dispute, but also on the broader fractures in the family that have now spilled out of private life and into public legal forums. As Christine's custody case progressed through the legal system, several notable things began to surface. First, the court classified her case as a significant custody dispute, which isn't a casual label. This designation typically involves heightened legal scrutiny and often requires both parties to disclose detailed financials, parenting plans, and any past history that might influence the child's well-being. That's where the emotional temperature started to rise for everyone involved. And let's be clear, this wasn't just a case of who gets more time with their daughter. This was about recognizing Kody's legal role as a father. Since his name didn't appear on Truly's birth certificate, that fact alone created a legal opening that Christine's attorneys clearly leveraged. And it forced Kody to defend his rights in a system that doesn't automatically recognize plural marriages or unregistered paternity claims. Court filings reported by sources like the Ashley's Reality Roundup indicate that the legal process went deeper than most fans realized, requiring affidavits, sworn testimony, mediation attempts, and even the potential for cross-examination if things had proceeded to trial. That's when fans began to speculate online about what might be said under oath and who, if anyone, could be caught misrepresenting themselves. And that's also when Robyn's name started surfacing in online discussions again and again. Now, let me be extremely clear here for accuracy and credibility, because that matters on platforms like YouTube, especially when you're talking about court cases. There is no public legal record at this time that confirms Robyn Brown was placed under oath in this custody case or formally caught lying in a court of law. But what has fueled endless speculation is the perception, especially among viewers, that Robyn has often played a behind-the-scenes role in steering Kody's decisions, especially when it comes to issues like finances, parenting priorities, and family division. So naturally, when fans started seeing headlines like custody dispute sealed, they began asking, was Robyn involved? Was she advising Kody? Did she contribute testimony? And if so, was it fully truthful? These questions, even in the absence of legal confirmation, began to swirl and snowball online because in the world of reality television, perception is often treated like proof. And that's what makes this story so uniquely dangerous, because if a fan theory gains traction, it starts to feel like fact, especially when the show itself is known for selective editing and off-camera secrets. That's why people online started using phrases like caught lying under oath even when no transcript was ever released, because they already believed there was something suspicious going on. And let me ask you right now, do you think fan speculation has gone too far in how it's framed Robyn? Or do you think where there's smoke, there's fire? I want to hear your opinion. So drop a comment below and tell me, is Robyn just misunderstood? Or has she been part of deeper family strategies that weren't always transparent to the other wives? I read every comment and reply, and your take helps shape the next videos I make. Now, getting back to the facts, one of the most critical turning points in this legal drama came during mediation, when both sides were ordered to appear, discuss custody options, and potentially reach an agreement without a full trial. These moments, often behind closed doors, can be even more intense than courtroom testimony because both parties are forced to say what they want, what they're willing to give up, and what they refuse to compromise on. That's when deeper disagreements usually spill out. According to insiders close to the process, this mediation didn't fully resolve everything. And as a result, documents and court updates began being marked as confidential, which only fueled the online flames even more if everything was so simple. Fans wondered, why would documents be sealed? Why would key updates disappear from the public court tracker? These are the kinds of questions that push fans from speculation into obsession. And that obsession reached another level when fans began referencing audio recordings and leaked conversations from older episodes of the show, moments where Robyn made claims that some viewers believe contradict things she later said publicly. Were those contradictions innocent misunderstandings? Were they editorial choices made by producers? Or were they indicators of something deeper that would eventually be exposed in court? That's what makes this legal drama unlike anything this family has faced before. It's not just personal, it's strategic, it's financial. And it might change the future of how courts treat plural families in custody battles. So let's pause right here. If you haven't already hit that share button, do it now. Send this to someone you know who watches Sister Wives and has no idea just how deep the real-life legal drama has become. And make sure you subscribe right now if you want to see what happens next in this multi-part breakdown in part 3. We're going to get into the deeper property conflicts involving Coyote Pass, how Robyn and Kody ended up controlling the majority share, and how that decision may have sparked the biggest financial betrayal in Sister Wives history. I'm talking about titles transferred, ownership claims disputed, and family members cut out of what was supposed to be their dream forever home. Stick with me, it only gets wilder from here. By the time the dust had even started to settle over the custody filings and the unraveling of Coyote Pass ownership, something far deeper and more damaging had begun to take hold, and it wasn't written into any legal contract or court document. It was the emotional disintegration of a family that had once prided itself on unity, faith, and shared purpose. What made the Sister Wives saga so compelling from the beginning wasn't just that it was a plural family, it was that this family insisted, year after year, through crisis after crisis, that they were better together, that somehow their differences made them stronger. But now, with Christine legally separating herself, filing custody suits, and walking away from the dream, and with Janelle quietly expressing regret and concern over lost investments and unequal treatment, and Mary standing alone without legal ties, emotional support, or financial leverage, what was left? Robyn and Kody together in a legal marriage in a home paid off, holding the deeds, holding the legal legitimacy, but isolated in every other way. And if you watch those last few episodes with an honest eye, you saw it too, that sense of isolation was unmistakable. Robyn's tears weren't just about missing the other wives. They were about being surrounded by silence. Because even if she had the legal upper hand, she had lost the emotional network that gave the Brown family its soul. And that's the paradox of power. You can win on paper and still lose in life. Kody, once the charismatic patriarch who balanced for different relationships and 20-plus children, now appeared hollowed out, defensive, clinging to a version of leadership that no longer had an audience. He wasn't negotiating between wives anymore. He was defending his reputation, dodging accusations, and slowly coming to terms with the fact that the entire framework he built was collapsing under the weight of control, ego, and mistrust. And as for the children, let's not forget the emotional toll this takes on them, because while court documents might list custody terms and land deeds might show transfers, the emotional map of this family tells a much more painful story. Truly, the child at the center of Christine's custody filing had to witness her parents' relationship fracture in the public eye, be dragged into legal debates over paternity and parenting time, and live through the kind of parental tension that doesn't just fade when the cameras stop rolling. And she's not alone. Every one of the Brown children has been impacted by this war. From Leon's public journey and distance from the family, to Gwendolyn's candid commentary on social media, to Gabriel and Garrison's heart-wrenching disconnect from their father, these aren't reality show storylines, these are emotional scars forming in real time. And here's where the show's fans come in, because your support, your attention, your comments and reactions, they've all played a role in how these narratives are amplified and interpreted. Some fans see Robyn as a victim, a woman, trapped by circumstance, caught in the middle of others' choices, simply trying to protect her children and marriage. Others see her as a strategic force, a quiet manipulator who benefited from the legal vacuum left by spiritual unions that offered no protection. And then there's Kody, who once spoke about fairness, about love, about God's plan, and now finds himself at the center of multiple broken relationships, legal disputes, estranged children, and an audience that's starting to turn on him. So here's what I want from you right now. Pause this video and go to the comments section and tell me, do you think Robyn and Kody are genuinely misunderstood? Or did they play the long game and outmaneuver the other wives with full awareness of the consequences? I'm watching the replies because the conversation here matters just as much as the story itself. What's happening in this family is no longer just about romantic tension or interpersonal miscommunication. It's about legal systems that don't know how to handle plural marriage dissolutions, about emotional investments that were never legally recognized, and about people waking up to the realization that what they believed was a forever bond was, in fact, only as strong as the signature on a piece of paper. And for viewers, that realization is gutting, because we watched them build it. We saw them cry over Coyote Pass blueprints, dream aloud about shared land and connected porches. We listened when they said this is our future, but the future, it seems, was never shared equally. And that betrayal, emotional, legal, spiritual, is now echoing through every corner of their family tree. That's why fans are still obsessed with the court documents, with the sealed testimony, with the possibility that something even bigger might still be buried behind confidentiality clauses. Because if this family could fracture this hard on what we can see, what does that say about what we can't? And if you're still watching right now, let me tell you, this isn't just content. This is history in the making. The Brown family may have started as pioneers in the public portrayal of polygamy, but now they're test subjects in a completely different experiment. How a family built on faith, choice, and plurality handles the fallout when that system is dismantled by law, loss, and legal clarity. Stick with me, because in part 5, we're going to bring it all together: the speculation, the evidence, the unanswered questions, and we'll talk about what might still be coming for this family, including new lawsuits, emotional reckonings, and a final question that no one seems ready to answer. What happens when the only two people left holding the keys are the ones the rest of the family no longer trusts? And now we come to the part that no one wants to face: the aftermath. Because while legal cases eventually close and deeds get filed and custody schedules are arranged, what lingers is the silence, the resentment, the unspoken damage that's impossible to quantify in court filings or real estate records. The Brown family may no longer be one cohesive unit, but their stories remain permanently connected, both by their shared past and by the legal and emotional scars left behind. What makes this story so unsettling isn't just the fallout. It's the haunting feeling that we're not at the end. We're in the middle of a very slow, very public unraveling, and the last threads haven't been pulled yet. Fans are already whispering about new legal steps on the horizon. Christine possibly pursuing long-term financial support, Janelle seeking reimbursement for her investment in Coyote Pass, or even Mary making a claim for emotional or financial damages after years of contributing to a structure that left her legally invisible. Nothing has been filed publicly yet, but the signs are there: the distancing, the interviews, the legal language buried in social posts and media leaks. And all the while, Kody and Robyn remain quiet, holed up in their Flagstaff home, possibly surrounded by legal advice, financial strategists, or maybe just the crushing realization that the empire they once ruled is now viewed with skepticism and, for many, outright anger. And here's where we come full circle, back to the courtroom. Rumors that started all this, whether or not Robyn was ever officially caught lying under oath. The court of public opinion has rendered its own judgment. Viewers have pieced together contradictions from past episodes, emotional inconsistencies from interviews, and the glaring contrast between what was promised and what was delivered. She was once seen as the peacekeeper, the tender soul who just wanted love and fairness, but now many see her as the architect of a quiet takeover, one that ended with her and Kody in full legal control while the other wives walked away empty-handed. Whether that's fair or not is a matter of personal interpretation, but perception, as we've seen, drives narrative, and narrative drives legacy. The truth is, we may never get a leaked audio recording or a courtroom bombshell to confirm every theory. There may never be a public transcript that proves who misled, whom or who truly orchestrated what behind the scenes, but what we do have is a body of evidence, emotional, financial, interpersonal, that shows a pattern of imbalance, of secrecy, of legal advantage used against emotional trust. And that, in many ways, is even more devastating than a single leaked recording. Because it's not a moment, it's a system. A system that Christine and Janelle and Mary all ultimately walked away from, not in a storm of rage, but in a slow, quiet exodus that spoke volumes. They didn't scream. They didn't take it all to Instagram with long essays. They just left, and in their leaving, they said everything. So now the question becomes, what's next? Does Robyn truly believe there's still a family to rebuild? Is Kody willing to reflect on his role in the implosion of the very foundation he claimed to cherish? Or have they both already accepted that the sister wives era is over, and now they're just managing the fallout? These are questions TLC may never fully answer. The cameras might keep rolling, more seasons might come, but we all know that what's really happening won't make it into the show's tidy narrative arcs. Because what's happening now is real life, no editors, no producers, just consequences. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes this story resonate so deeply with fans. It's not about polygamy anymore. It's not even about religion or culture. It's about what happens when people believe they're in something fair, only to discover they were never protected. It's about love without legal weight, commitment without documentation, investment without return. And that's a cautionary tale that hits far beyond the boundaries of one reality TV family. So, if you've watched this whole video, if you followed this story from the beginning, or you're just now realizing how deep it goes, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and answer this final question. Do you believe justice has been served in the Brown family saga? Has anyone truly been held accountable for the legal and emotional damage that's taken place? Or is this just a case of too little, too late for everyone involved? And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe, because trust me, this isn't the last time we'll be talking about court filings, leaked documents, and quiet betrayals that change everything. Share this with someone who still thinks Sister Wives is just a show about love, because it's not. It's a case. Study in power, trust, and what happens when the system finally catches up to the story. Hit that like button if you stayed to the end, because your support keeps this channel digging into the truth. And finally, let me ask you directly, if you had the chance to sit down face to face with Robyn or Kody and ask them one question, just one, what would it be? Leave it in the comments. I'm reading every single one, because this story isn't over, and neither are we.